And welcome back to MSI 2021. We are here for the final day of groups. I'm Medi, he's Vedi, and we are ready to get on into the action. And what a day we have ahead of us, Vedius.
Yeah, quite right. This is the final group of the MSI group stages, the last two teams to qualify for the Rumble stage to join alongside PSG, Mad Lions, Pentanet, and RNG. So we're going to have an interesting Rumble stage for sure. But to kick off the day, of course, we're going to be bringing you this banger of C9 versus Damwon. And we're going to be getting into the draft. It was a big point of discussion last week, largely because many people thought the Cloud9 had the superior draft. They were looking pretty good in the bot side of the map, but it still felt like Canyon had so much control, with Khan really dominating. Now we will see the classic Thresh taken off the board by Damwon. They have banned this regardless of side medic, so it seems that they do not want to deal with this champion in the bot lane. I mean,
Vulcan's really well known for his Thresh as well, so no real surprises there. I will note the first ban coming out from C9, Gnar. Khan smurfed on Fudge on the Gnar last time these two teams met, so a little bit of respect given there by C9 over to Damwon KIA. And now with the Varus and the Morgana removed, I'm still looking at things like the Rumble that has got his way so far through this draft.
The Renekton going to be taken off the board too. Now the question I have coming into this draft is, will Khan be playing a carry, or will he be playing a weak side top? His Sion, very famous for this champion, is still up and available, but ooh, the Rumble going to be left open. So Damwon, they're testing C9 here. They're saying, what are you willing to pick? Do you really want to give the best jungler in the world, the current strongest champion in the meta? It seems like C9 is going to do it. They want to give Fudge a power pick in the top side. The Lee Sin will be left up and available. So here we are. This has to be the Rumble for Damwon, surely.
I mean, he's already won 2 of the 3 games he's played. Canyon's already played it and shown us how effective it can be. I would not be surprised at all if this is Kai'Sa alongside that Rumble. Of course, you don't want to leave it open for the next rotation because Lee Sin is now a top laner rather than a jungler. There is the Rumble alongside Kai'Sa, and we'll see. Blaber immediately locks in the Udyr. Alongside that, a Tristana can go mid, can of course go down towards the bottom lane.
And the Nautilus, immediate response. So both teams clearly have a plan. This is a bit of an old school bot lane with the Kai'Sa Nautilus duo. It was very powerful back when Perkz in particular was an AD carry. And I think that it can still be considered a very strong setup as well. The extra utility it has against the Tristana, very valuable. And now, some of these strong supports that answer into the Nautilus are going to be taken off the board. So the Leona removed. Damwon doing a classic Damwon thing. They're getting themselves a strong bot side of the map, guaranteeing themselves a powerful 2v2 that they can get priority on, allowing BeryL the opportunity to roam around the map. Meanwhile, you're also limiting some of C9's strongest aspects of this tournament. Their bot lane, they've been able to successfully get 2v2 kills. They've been very impactful in team fights. So it feels like right now, Damwon is kind of getting what they want. But in the same vein, C9 with such high priority on the Lee Sin, on the Udyr, they're saying, we want a strong top side. We want to show we can play through top. And maybe they want to take a page out of the DFM book of attacking Khan. That is how they were able to get a lot of early game leads. Let's see if C9 can do it as we move further into the second phase.
Yeah, shutting down Khan seems to be a very good way of shutting down Damwon KIA, at least in the early game. Lee Sin so strong in the lane. You can see C9 banning away the Nocturne as well from that top lane, taking away something that Khan might be comfortable on.
I think that it's also a good answer into the Lee. Right now, it looks like that a lot of top lane bans suggest to me that the Lee is going top, but I wanted to also add the fact that Perkz, you know he likes to flex. There's always the possibility of the lead going into the mid. We've seen it in the mid lane a bunch of times. Now, flexibility is option, so credit to Cloud9. Their draft is very flexible right now. They can mix and match depending on what Damwon choose to do. And right now, with the Jayce hover, it's suggesting that Khan is saying that we're willing to take the skill match up top. We want to wait and see what is going on in the mid lane, and then we're going to give ShowMaker the counter pick.
And there is the Jayce locked in for Khan in the top lane. Only played it once during the regular season, was unkilled and undefeated on it. And of course, we've all heard the stories of Korean Jayces, so expect to see him pop off on that in the top lane. And now we'll see where C9 decide to round out this draft. Options are an AD carry and a support, or a support and a mid laner here, with that Tristana flexing down into the bottom lane. Alistar immediately picked for Vulcan.
The thing that they need, though, is more ability power. So regardless of what they pick, whether it goes bot lane or whether it's in mid lane, we need to see a little bit more AP damage. We know that Seraphine was a big thing in playoffs, but that's really fallen out of contention, and it looks like the Cloud9 are going to be putting Perkz on the Viktor. Safe, stable mid lane, strong wave clear. Often ShowMaker would answer with something like a Zoe to be able to get early priority in the lane, but we know he has a wealth of champions at his disposal. If he wants a little bit more aggression, Twisted Fate could be something that he could go for. He does have a world skin on it after all, but instead it looks like that he is hovering the Sylas, and he is going to lock that one in. Sylas into things like the Alistar, always very valuable.
So strong.
Tristana ultimate, the Lee Sin kick can also be good, but I will say that of the ults that he can steal, probably not the strongest setup, but still, I'm sure the ShowMaker is going to find a lot of value on it. And I think that the great thing about the Sylas is it wants to dive into the backline. So you have the Nautilus that's going to be setting up the crowd control. When the Kai'Sa goes in, the Sylas is going to be very quick to follow. Their aim is going to be trying to shut down Zven, whereas C9 have a very traditional standard front-to-back team fight comp. They have a strong top side of the map that they're going to look to try and play through. And I think this mid lane matchup, the priority is going to be a really big deal in the early game. Will Blaber enable Perkz to move around the map, perhaps roam up towards topside, try and shut Khan down, or will ShowMaker have control over Perkz and limit his movement and instead be the one to roam up top and get Khan going?
And last time these two teams faced, a lot of the early game was about which jungler could get that priority. We saw Canyon getting double scuttles, denying Blaber his first Kindred mark, denying Blaber that scaling into the late game, and we'll see if that can happen once again, because I think a lot of voices are saying so far, Blaber has not had the tournament we expected from him. In North America, he was the MVP. He was the best player in the entire league, and he has yet to really show up here at MSI. A lot of weight lies on those young shoulders. Let's see if he can show up today.
I'm excited, Medic. It's going to be a good game. Important game as well for any team that is not Damwon, because if any team can get a win off of them, then it makes their the path out of the group probably a lot easier. So let's see if C9 can do it. A lot of North American faithfuls still believe, a lot more doubters are coming out. We've been seeing all kinds of interviews saying that C9 not going to make it out of the group from other pro players. So it's time for C9 to prove the doubters wrong as they get the rematch against the world champions.
So early on, eyes always have to be on towards those junglers. BeryL making a little foray into the jungle here, but isn't actually going to get anywhere near those Razor Beaks. Both teams just setting up a bit of a line of scrimmage here, Vedius.
Pretty standard stuff. You will see these wards dropped around in the river, the one up towards topside. Wouldn't be surprised to see Damwon do a similar thing down towards the bot. Depends on whether or not they want to get themselves that early sweeper. For now, it looks like that's not going to be the case. Blaber has done his early reset, but let's have a look at what the pathing is for both of these junglers. Oh, there is that ward for BeryL. He's going to do his quick reset as well. He should get to lane in time, but looks like no crazy level 1 shenanigans for the time being. A little surprised that Fudge is sitting here when he does have a ward at his disposal. Perhaps he wants to preemptively get ahead of any potential delayed invades. But it looks like Damwon going to start bot side path towards top. Meanwhile, Blaber going to start top side path towards bot. So they're going to be doing inverse jungle pathing. This means that Zven and Vulcan will have that early priority in the 2 versus 2 because Ghost is going to be offering that assistance to his jungler, which means that Blaber unlikely going to be flashing for that early Scuttle Crab, as his bot lane will be able to provide him with the support that he needs.
And it's always interesting when you see a jungler get a leash and the opposing jungler not receive one. Does give Zven and Mithy, as you say, that early push in the bottom lane, means that they can be a little bit more aggressive. Alistar, of course, not really a champion until he hits level 2, so he'll be looking to get that headbutt pulverize combo up as soon as possible. You can see BeryL trying to trade on him as much as he can before that cow hits his combo level.
Really cool stuff coming out from both bot laners. I like the aggression that we're seeing from Damwon's duo, largely because they're actually going to force the 2 versus 2 off the lane. They will actually get the level 2 first, so that early priority is actually going to be denied. Unfortunately, I think the wall there got in the way, so that hook doesn't come down onto Vulcan, but a lot of this comes down to that very early trading that was coming out from Ghost and BeryL, that immediately, once they got into the lane, they just got into the face of Zven and Vulcan, and they were actually able to get that slight CS advantage. So now Damwon have a pushing top, and they have a pushing bot. Let's see how this influences Blaber and his pathing. Playing the Udyr, you're going to have an incredibly fast clear speed, but the biggest difference... Ooh, another hook lands.
Yeah, Zven should be able to jump away from this one, but only takes a huge amount of damage there. BeryL takes a tower shot as well, and Vulcan and Zven are forced underneath the turret themselves. Ghost's going to try and get a ward in here, knows that Blaber's going to be on the bottom side of the map after he started up towards that top lane. And I do wonder, when we talk about prio, a lot of it is in the early game about getting scuttle crabs for your junglers, right? And the issue for Damwon KIA is, although you have the push in the 2v2 in the bottom lane, ShowMaker is getting pushed out of lane mid. He's going to have to TP back to catch that wave. Your jungler is on the top side of the map, so is nowhere near contesting this. And it looks like Blaber is just going to be able to secure bot side scuttle himself, and Canyon will trade it on the top side for a scuttle of his own.
So I think one of the big things for Damwon's bot lane in particular, though, is because Perkz has that prio in mid. I'm not saying that it's likely, but there's always the possibility of a dive, right?
Yeah.
The potential stacking wave, especially with the early scuttle crab, maybe even an invade, stealing away the first Gromp that wants to respawn. The fact that Ghost and BeryL were able to kind of reclaim control of the wave and have the wave stay where it is right now means that they're actually safe from any ganks, any potential invades they can answer. So I think it was really smart with how they played the 2 versus 2. And because Perkz had the push in mid, as they go for another 2-2 and a gank in mid.
ShowMaker dives onto Perkz, who's going to have to flash away, but Canyon with the Flame Spitter will secure the first kill of the game. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Vulcan forced to flash away. Ignite was ticking on him, and Damwon KIA coming up clutch in some of these plays.
Great prediction there from Canyon. Flashes just as Perkz does because he knows what the enemy mid laner is thinking, and he's able to guarantee the kill. Now we see a bit of trading from Fudge. That's a lot of damage.
Fudge going in. Khan could just switch towards his range form here to look for the damage, but instead Fudge will be able to farm up underneath the tower. Still has a flash available to him, and Blaber is on this side of the map. Looks like he's going to try and make the long way round to see if he can catch out Khan, but it might just be a Razorbeak steal instead.
So, Perkz didn't lose a huge amount in terms of farm because he does still have his TP. Blaber now making his way up top lane. Will not get spotted out, but now he will get...
Oh, he went the other way.
Nice.
Really smart pathing there from Blaber. Flash still available for Khan. He's going to look for the flash knockback. Blaber flashes forward. Fudge going in with the kick as well. The Sonic Wave connects, and C9 get their first kill. Fudge survives.
Nice use of the W there from Fudge as well. Just barely able to get the shield off to minimize that last bit of damage. So now C9 answer with a kill. Putting Khan behind, getting Fudge ahead, playing through topside. That's very much what C9 want to do. The bot lane is going even after all the skirmishing, and even after Perkz' death, he still has good priority in mid. Now, the Hex Slash from Vulcan.
Vulcan's going to have the stun up here. Canyon doesn't have flash, remember, used it on Perkz. There's the Gravity Well to get the stun onto Canyon. Hook goes wide. BeryL stepping forward a little bit. Here comes Blaber as well. The rest of C9 trying to back up the defensive forces here in the jungle. BeryL forced away. Ends up just being a trade of HP.
Now, this is a classic Canyon move. If the enemy Raptors are alive, he's going to go to them. It doesn't matter whether he has priority or not, because what he's doing is he's just creating pressure. Fortunately for him, BeryL was on the roam already and was able to offer support, as we see a bit of trading in the mid lane. Good fancy feet there from Perkz, but to go back to this Canyon point, he is just so aggressive when it comes to stealing away enemy ganks, and he looks for all of these opportunities to deny as much from the enemy jungler as possible. And this is a really good example as well of how the team plays around Canyon. You notice that BeryL and ShowMaker immediately collapse, and this was the strategy that won them the World Championship last year. Playing for the best jungler and potentially even the best player in the world. Canyon knows how to carry games, and with that first blood in his back pocket and now hitting the level 6, you know that he's going to be looking for a little bit more on the map.
You can see it just there. The entirety of Damwon's bottom side went for that Scuttle Crab. They were like, we're all going to be here. If anyone tries to contest us on this Scuttle Crab, we are helping Canyon out. Canyon gets it, hits level 6, as you say. But I will say, on the other side of the coin, Blaber has had a very good start to this game. He's kept up in CS with Canyon. He has got the assist in the top lane with some very intelligent pathing to get the gank onto Khan. And this is where Blaber was successful and C9 was successful in the LCS. When he is getting early kills and assists, when he's getting gold leads on his opponents, when he's getting into these skirmishes and outplaying his opposition. We haven't seen it so much at MSI so far. The hope is that we can see it today.
The funny thing is, Damwon also paying their respect to him and investing a lot of vision. Just going to very quickly bring up the minimap and highlight how much vision they have all across the board, because you can just see these wards littered throughout the river. Anywhere that he tries to go, he's going to get spotted out, he's going to get denied, and the pings immediately come out from Damwon, and they showcase that respect. So while Blaber was able to find that one kill topside, we'll see if he can find any more. Putting Khan behind, as we mentioned, is an effective strategy that has allowed DFM to get early game leads, but I think considering C9 knows they scale quite well, know that they have a very solid front-to-back comp, being at this amount of deficit this early in the game against a team like Damwon, I don't think they're too concerned about just yet.
And you're pretty happy being only 700 gold behind at around the 8-minute marks. Damwon looking to bring BeryL up to the top lane. This is something they did at Worlds last year. Ring the BeryL, I believe is what you used to call it, Vedius. The wave is not in a good spot here for Khan. So instead of taking Canyon's time out of his farm, out of his jungle, you bring BeryL up and you say, okay, help me reset the wave or look for a kill.
And Fudge showcasing respect. He's like, the only reason why Khan would push this out is if someone was here. So really good awareness from Fudge. He's saying, I've got to drop a ward. I think I'm about to get dived. He knows that his jungler's on the bot side of the map as well. And so he's going to pay that respect, and he's not going to lose his life. So really good awareness from Fudge. Meanwhile, C9 know that if that's happening, they can push in the bot side of the map. This is the standard cross-map play. As the Rift Herald is being dropped, C9 going to look for that Drake, and they're going to look to get themselves a couple plates onto the C9 duo.
ShowMaker diving onto Perkz here in the mid lane. Grabbz comes down, the Chaos Storm ticking away as well. BeryL is near his mid lane. A counter Chaos Storm from ShowMaker will force Perkz away. And ShowMaker, of course, has the Kingslayer to heal up in this lane if he so needs. Importantly, that little trade brought Blaber away from the Dragon. He's gone back to it now. He's going to try and secure it in exchange for the Rift Herald that was picked up by Canyon.
The thing about this Herald is it will allow DK to accelerate the game. They will be able to take down a tower, and they can either funnel more money into potentially ShowMaker. Sometimes it's used mid in the early game to not only take away plates, but to also try and break down that tower, because against a champion like Viktor, especially when he gets his E upgrade, it can be very difficult to siege. Alternatively, they just maybe want to funnel more gold into Khan. You can see that he's already taken 2 plates. I feel like this would be the best option for him, and with the camp spawn on the bot side of the map, I imagine Canyon's going to go bot, clear, path towards top. They're going to work on stacking a wave. They're then going to look to drop the Herald, and they're going to look to take that tower. So C9 now have to be aware and prepare to try and cross-map on the bot side so they can get as many plates and try and trade towers while this is occurring from down.
It's kind of reminiscent to when they met on day 1. We saw Khan not really getting many kills, not really getting much gold through killing his opposition, but getting these plates early on, breaking that top tier 1, and then working his way down towards the mid lane. And you can see Damwon Kia already taken 2 plates there. Khan hasn't had Canyon by his side that much, did of course have BeryL's assistance for a little while, but just the range advantage on this Jayce paying off so well for the Damwon top laner. And the question is, are C9 going to be able to get stuff on the other side of the map? Are they going to be able to utilize the fact that they do have a strong Tristana? They've got this Alistar who can jump in to really shut down Damwon Kia, because Ghost has historically been the weak point for Damwon.
It's, you know, that's saying something, right? Because he's definitely not a weak
still
player.
Really good player.
Ghost has been a very reliable AD carry for the squad, and he has an insane win rate. He has something like 70% win rate since he joined the roster of Damwon. And remember, they were like a 5th place team prior to that, often struggling when it came to the domestic playoffs. But Ghost, his introduction to the team led them to a world championship. So extremely important to the team as well. Going to be forced to burn the heal here after a very good trade, but now see the Rift Herald dropped in mid. This is something that we talked about. Damwon, of course, did have options. And I think that because Khan is just quite convincingly taking these plates up towards the top side, that's now his 3rd solo plate. They thought, you know what, let's get a little bit more damage down into the mid lane. Let's make this mid tower easier to siege. Fudge trying to get a bit of a trade, but with no jungle presence, unlikely to take Khan's life. So this early game, been quite slow. A little bit of what we expected. I think that C9, as we mentioned, very happy to slow the game down against a team like Damwon. With a 1k gold deficit, I think that they're still feeling pretty comfortable, and they're going to be looking for those late game fights around the Drakes. Having secured the first one, they're going to be looking to get their eyes on the second one as well.
What I am enjoying seeing here from Cloud9, though, is Vulcan leaving Zven. Like we talked about, and they talked about on the analyst desk, how Vulcan teaming up with Blaber and getting in the enemy's faces is what worked for Cloud9 in the LCS, but he has been babysitting Zven a little bit so far during MSI. So to see him working around with Blaber, trying to get these ganks off, is pretty encouraging to see for C9.
I will say that Canyon has gotten every single Scuttle Crab since the first one, right? And that just goes to show how well his laners once again allow him, with that pressure, with that priority, to just move into the river. And we already highlighted the vision earlier. It feels like that the entirety of this game, the river has just belonged to Damwon. And sometimes you can't often see or feel jungle presence, but I tell you now, C9 feel the pressure when the river is constantly in darkness. So as you mentioned, here we see Vulcan now working with his mid to get a little bit more control over the top side river. They know that the blue buff is up on the top side as well. Blaber is hovering around. They want to get this push so they can hand the blue buff over to Perkz. And like that risk of an invade with the Jayce, with the with the Sylas and with the Rumble is very risky, so they just kind of want to cover for that, and now they'll be able to hand over and pass over this blue buff to Perkz.
With a minute and a half on the clock before this Cloud Drake, I wonder if we'll see DWG KIA trying to set up around it. BeryL is going to face check straight into Zven and Vulcan here. Perkz on his way as well, and BeryL might just be dead before he can even join the fight. Knockup comes out, but Zven gets the kill. Vulcan and Zven set up a beautiful trap here as Fudge dives in on the top lane, but Khan just uses the hammer to make him socially distanced.
Really good punish there from Cloud9. The big difference this time round was Canyon had actually gone back to base.
Yep.
So BeryL overextends, trying to get a little bit of vision where he didn't have priority. Perkz was able to collapse as well. So Cloud9, they're leading in kills right now, still a little bit behind in gold, but that allowed them to get a setup around the Drake, so they can invest their vision. I'd like to see them reset. We can see it from Vulcan right now. Perfect timing. He's going to replenish his wards. They've got control wards everywhere. The question is, will Perkz go back and spend some of his gold? Actually going to have he does have a lot of money that he is currently sitting on, about 2k gold that he has not spent yet, as Khan is looking to take this tower. So it looks like DWG is saying, you know what, we'll trade Drake for top tower, and it looks like for now they're just going to give that one away.
But Zven and Vulcan are working their way towards the top lane here, so perhaps they're just giving up this dragon as well. Sven's going to jump in onto Khan. Trades a few extra auto attacks with that hypercharge. Canyon is on the top side of the map as well, just finishing off his Krugs. Vulcan and Zven do both still have their flashes. Could look for an engage here on the Dom1 top laner, but for the moment, we'll just try and gain lane priority. Importantly for C9, they did take the first Drake, so there's no fear of stacking, but Canyon's looking for Perkz here in the mid lane. Grabbz comes down and Perkz burns. In comes Blaber as well, looking for the damage onto ShowMaker. Gets one, he's looking for two. Canyon underneath the tower will die to Blaber. He gets hooked back in. The turret damage will not be enough to kill him off. Even Ignite won't tick him down. Blaber with 2 kills in the mid lane.
Looked like a big overstep from Perkz in the mid lane there, but fortunately Blaber was able to come up clutch. He understood how much damage he has, was able to flash in, and was able to turn around. Now C9's looking for more.
They know BeryL doesn't have flash from that play earlier on, and Fudge is on the board. 2-0 for this Lee Sin in the top lane. That gold lead that was about 1,000 a couple of minutes ago has now shrunk to near negligible, and C9 will get the Rift Herald. That Cloud Drake is still available for them as well.
Beautiful stuff from Cloud9, playing around. Well, the mistakes of DWG. DWG thought that they had the numbers advantage there. They weren't prepared for Blaber, and now they're looking for another dive.
Vulcan pops the up. Khan still has the flash. He's going to try and get underneath the tower, tries to put the damage down. Vulcan tanking as long as he can. Blaber will survive as he walks away, and this roaming death squad from Cloud9 is coming in clutch.
Beautifully done from Cloud9. Kill after kill after kill. Now 6-2. ShowMaker has his eyes on Perkz in the mid lane.
Perkz no flash, the Everfrost coming out as well. The Gravity Well will stun up ShowMaker. Chaos Storm won't chase him down, and Perkz will be able to survive. Forced away, has the teleport to join the lane once again. DWG KIA will take the Cloud Dragon as their comeuppance for that play.
So I am a little surprised that Cloud9 chose to give away the Herald in favor of the... sorry, chose to give away the Drake, in favor of the Herald. But I imagine that it's mainly to take down the mid lane tower. Perhaps they're a little bit concerned about the tower defense of champions like the Jayce and the Rumble, especially with the ultimate. But with how strong C9 Siege is, I feel like they're just funneling more resources into these Drakes, get to that 4 Drake win condition, then you're going to guarantee those team fights. Yep. I think would have been a little bit more favorable for them, but regardless, we'll see if that comes to bite them back later on. For now, they're feeling very comfortable. They've been able to equalize the gold. A lot of items are starting to come through. Yet to complete the item for Perkz, but he did go for that early Grievous Wounds buy so that he could match up against the Sylas. So a little bit expected as we see now DWG hovering around topside. They have their eyes on Perkz. He respects the positioning as we see fighting in bot.
Fudge is going to try and 1v1 Khan here. It does have the kick, uses it. Khan trying to change the damage back. Fudge in the middle of the minions. The solo kill for Fudge.
Beautifully done, and Fudge on his redemption arc. Like, he's had mixed success so far at this tournament, a lot of doubters surrounding his performance, but now put on the Lee Sin, given agency, 3-0-0 on the champion, solo kills Khan. And now, with the Rift Herald, C9 looking to take down this mid-tier 1.
Vulcan in a little bit of a bad position here. Equalizer available for Canyon. There's the Unbreakable Will as the Vulcan just gets pulled back, lands the knockup, but Canyon can still look for the chase. Going into the overheat. Sven's going to get knocked up as well. There's the Equalizer across 2. Goes diving onto the back line. You can see on the front, it's Blaber trying to do what he can. BeryL goes down first. ShowMaker diving in. Canyon trying to get away. Fudge doing so much work in these fights. He lands another Q. The call of the Q going in for the Lee Sin. Zven gets deleted by Ghost. And in the end, it's a 3-for-3 in an all-right quite brawl in the mid lane.
Wow, both top laners a little delayed TPing into the fight, but considering Cloud9 was in a numbers advantage, the fact that they were able to equalize that, impressive stuff. They now sit with a 600 gold lead, and you can see that the confidence is starting to mount in C9. Zven, I think his dive in was a little overeager, but you like to see that level of confidence as Damwon is being pushed to the brink.
We'll have another look in this new Axe Effect replay.
So Vulcan, he's sitting to set up a flank in the mid lane, but Damwon are collapsing on him. He's taking a huge amount of damage here, but C9 know they have 2 TPs, so they commit them immediately. The problem for C9 is they get a little bit split up because of the equalizer. Fudge then comes in, gets that initial kill, and C9 think that they can commit to the chase, but that's when Khan joins the fray. And watch Zven here, flashes over the wall, and unfortunately, he puts himself in melee range of Khan, who's then able to just tear him apart alongside Ghost. If he'd been a little bit more patient, I think C9 could have walked away with a numbers advantage in that fight. But in the end, they end up equalizing. And remember, C9 were able to get the mid-tier 1 off the back of that. So gold still very close. We're in a very competitive game right now. But C9 looking much better. Let's see if they can get further advantages against Damwon.
Zven has no flash. He's got nowhere to jump either. You can't get over any of those walls. Zven goes down. ShowMaker with the kill. And that flash in the mid lane play comes back to bite Zven.
Creative punish there from Damwon. Why would you expect ShowMaker to be shadowing in the top side of the map? There is no one to sit and answer bot wave, but they're saying, you know what, we don't care. We'll trade the bot tier 1 because we know we can get the top tier 1 and we'll also get a kill. Now Blaber has his eyes on Khan.
Perkz is there as well, puts down the death ray. Blaber trying to trade in, Ghost coming in from the side as well. Vulcan should be able to retreat under the safety of his tower. And the play doesn't really come to too much. Importantly though, Fudge pushing in a side lane. This guy was 3 plates down in the top lane. He was 1,000 gold behind. He's now 5 1-on-1 on this Lee Sin, and he's able to split push, and no one from Damwon KIA can really match him. Damwon though say we're just going to push in the mid lane. Unbreakable will coming out from Vulcan, but Ghost goes on a rampage. Now Perkz on the front line has to flash away from the equalizer, but still takes half his HP. Damwon KIA looking for the tower in the mid. They will back away from it, but they take a chunk.
You can see Cloud9 starting to crumble a little bit, pick after pick after pick, coming in favor of Damwon, and they've been able to reclaim the gold lead. Not significant, keeping the game close, but still. They're doing a great job of funneling kills, in particular onto Ghost. The silent carry of the team has been getting stronger and stronger. The observers just showcased the difference in gold, and you can see it in the items too, now fully completed for Ghost. And he's going to be a real threat as we move into the mid-game team fights, because Damwon, just beautiful macro right there. The shadowing of ShowMaker into the top lane to find that initial pick. They then play through 2 lanes. And they keep ShowMaker in a side lane top wall, having 4 members mid, knowing that they're going to have numbers advantage to get themselves the mid-tier 1. And then they're even able to get another pick onto Vulcan. So Cloud9, they need to focus back up, pay a little bit more attention, because Damwon, if they see these weaknesses on the map, they're going to look to take advantage.
And this is one of those moments where you think taking that second dragon instead of the second Rift Herald may have been more beneficial for Cloud9, because right now, this would be sole point. If they already had that Cloud Drake from earlier, they could make sure that Damwon KIA had to come into a fight in the next 5 minutes. But for now, Damwon KIA can give up the next dragon and still be able to fight back. ShowMaker now in a side lane is looking to push down this tier 2.
Damwon using this window to get a little bit more damage onto the tier 2. They're going to steal away the top jungle camps as well. C9, very close in this game.
Only 1,000 gold between the 2 teams. C9 having a much better performance. Blaber having a much better performance than we saw from him in the first few days of MSI. 205 on this Udyr. He has been everywhere on the map, shutting Damwon KIA down whenever he can, but now C9 are in a disadvantageous spot. Damwon KIA are used to being behind. 4 of their 6 playoff games, they were at a gold deficit at the 20-minute mark, and they still won every single one of those, and they're looking for more. Equalizer coming out as BeryL lands the knock-up onto Perkz. Perkz being rooted in place, and the flames will burn him down. Ghost dives in, Perkz goes golden, but that stopwatch won't stop your demise. Ghost now knocked back, Fudge trying to do what he can, diving onto Khan, but Fudge takes so much damage, Khan flashes out. BeryL down to 100 HP, Cannon unable to rejoin the fight. Fudge and Vulcan doing what they can on this front line. Damwon KIA able to force them back.
And that was just such a huge mistake from Cloud9 that Damwon was so quick to punish once again. They have their eyes on the Baron, but they're not going to commit to it. They're just going to walk away with the tier 2 in mid, along with a little bit more vision control and, of course, the kill. Damwon, notice how they've accelerated the gold lead now to 2k, but the biggest mistake there was Fudge went top to push out the wave, and he didn't actually have his TP up and available. So Damwon grouped as 5 in mid, and basically just pushed. They realized the positioning of Cloud9 was awkward, kind of stuck in their topside jungle, so Damwon could get the priority in the mid lane, siege onto the tower, and then C9 ended up getting split apart. The Tristana was forced away from the tier 2 tower. Perkz and Blaber were in the jungle, and when Fudge arrives, it looks promising, but you could see how close the damage was. If C9 had all 5 players, there was a window there for them to actually come out ahead. But unfortunately, they had that numbers disadvantage. Damwon were able to punish once more, and this is why they're such a terrifying team to play against. Every time you feel like you've gotten control over the game, they're always paying attention to the map state. They're always tracking your summoner spells. They're keeping an eye on where you are, and they're going to look at every opportunity to take something away from you. Now, teleports are all up and available. ShowMaker sitting in a side lane, and the Baron is up. The Dragon's in about 2.5 minutes, so I think the priority for Cloud9 is get a little bit more money, make sure that you secure that second item, because right now, you're not in the best position to fight. Whereas Damwon, they're primed to go for whatever. Right now, they're just trying to create a little bit more points of pressure. You can see they pushed in the bot side. This is a good opportunity for them to actually get a little bit of deep vision in the bot side of the map if they want to. You can see BeryL already now moving in. They know that they have the prio in mid. The Tristana has reset, and they're going to look to, once again, steal things away from you. We already talked so much about it, but they're looking to take everything away. We are actually going to get a replay of that last fight, and you can see what I meant by being split apart. This Rumble ultimate was so big from Canyon, because he's like, Lee Sin is top, doesn't have teleport. The Tristana is split from the fight. Vulcan invests his flash to make sure that Zven stays alive. And then look, ShowMaker, he's done his job. He's split apart the fight. He doesn't need to overcommit. He can potentially go for a re-engage, but when Fudge joins, it's too little, too late. And whilst a couple summoner spells were burnt, C9 ended up falling short in the fight.
They're so close, though. You look at Canyon and BeryL there, like, collectively they had about 500 HP. A stiff breeze could blow them over at the end of that fight. If C9 can be able to find just that little bit extra burst, maybe those second items will help them find a little bit of extra damage they may need in these next fights. Currently, we see Zven just taking away the Razorbeaks, has just finished his Phantom Dancer. He's about 1,000 gold, 1,500 gold behind Ghost, who has a Dirk alongside the Kraken Slayer Phantom Dancer. 2 items on ShowMaker, but Perkz has just finished his Zhonya's as well, so his ability to survive through these fights is that much more powerful as we get into it. Mountain Drake up in 50 seconds. Vulcan going in. Canyon is off to the side here. He's waited outside of vision. Canyon puts down the equalizer. BeryL's going to be able to walk away for the moment, but Fudge has a great flank, and BeryL is sniped by C9. They saw their target, and they engaged.
Now, what is C9 going to do off the back of this? Will they commit to the Baron, or will they instead use this opportunity to immediately rush back towards the Drake and set themselves up for the Soul Point? Ghost trying to get early on the wave at the speed of his life, as you rightly said. Doesn't have that summoner spell. I like this from Cloud9. Threaten the Drake instead. Don't gamble the Baron. Even though Canyon's ult is off cooldown, with ShowMaker and Ghost still full HP with everything ready to go, it's still a very risky play. You've only killed the support. So instead, set up around this Drake. Perkz has control over the top side, has that wave pushing in, has the teleport. The flank TP is available, as you can see that control ward on your screen. Cloud9 going to start this one off.
Perkz is seen on vision on the top side, doing Gromp right now. Damwon KIA
has to TP.
Are going to try and fight this. Vulcan takes a chunk, 3,000 HP on the Dragon. Here comes the TP. Equalizer not in the best of spots as ShowMaker tries to dive onto the backline. Vulcan doing what he can to disengage the fight. Dragon secured by Canyon, but he will fall. Vulcan doing what he can, and ShowMaker dives onto the backline. The rest of Damwon KIA trying to get in here as well. Zven over the side of the wall is getting the damage down as much as he can, but Blaber now on the front line has to pop a stopwatch of his own. Zven now diving in, looking for the damage as C9's team fighting may have come online. Khan trying to do what he can, but here comes Zven, getting the damage down onto Ghost. It's Zven and Fudge versus ShowMaker and Ghost, and Zven and Fudge are winning! ShowMaker tries to get the damage, but he can't quite do it. It's Fudge, it's ShowMaker. Lee versus Sylas in a mano-a-mano battle in the river, and in the end, it looks like Fudge is going to disengage. ShowMaker, no flash, does have the abscond, steals away the Dragon's Rage kick, but he won't be able to chase down Fudge.
Fudge, you gotta run, man. There's no way you can win that 1v1 right now, but wow, what a fight between Damwon and C9. I feel like Perkz was way too late with the teleport. He needed to just get there with his team and leverage the numbers advantage along with the zone control of the Viktor. Look at how late he TP's in. The Rumble ultimate comes down, immediately forces Zven out of the fight. Blaber can't actually get into the pit, which means that Canyon is able to steal this one away. And then with the re-arrival of BeryL, you can see how the fight escalates into chaos. ShowMaker's just tanking 4 members up inside the pit. He refuses to die. Blaber on the backline doing what he can. But this is kind of where it all devolves into chaos. Fudge versus ShowMaker. They're both trying to do as much damage as they can. The triple kill comes through to Khan. Props to him.
What a kick.
Ghost using his ultimate to try and get out of that situation, but Fudge really coming up clutch in these team fights, just doing so much damage for his team. But like, just goes to show, like, Damwon are incredible team fighters, but C9 are keeping up with the pace. I just think that they were a little slower. Perkz was there just a little bit earlier, used some of the zone control that is so prevalent for a Viktor. It would have been much better for C9. But in the end, they end up coming out even. The Drake ends up going over to Damwon. This game is incredibly close. You can see that this is a different Cloud9 compared to what we saw in the first half of this group stage.
What a change from the last time they played up against Damwon KIA, especially for Fudge. Like, he got beaten by Khan in the top lane. He was down and out. He lost his entire tower in the early game, and now on this Lee Sin, he has the most gold in the game. He has got 7 kills, and he is really silencing some of his doubters in this game. I remember back at Lock-In tournament where people were saying Fudge is not of the caliber you want from a C9 top laner. Why did they replace FLICKR? Well, here he is showing up against the world champions, against Khan, and coming up clutch for C9.
It's a thing with young players, man. When they get given that opportunity to learn, they learn very fast, and I think that Fudge is showcasing how rapid his growth can be. Having a fantastic game here. The question is, will it be enough? Because again, Ghost still very strong. ShowMaker is also playing incredibly well, and Canyon still doing Canyon things. Gonna drop the emote, get into the mental of C9, take every advantage that they can. Look, again, I can't remember the last time Zven had a red buff. Like, Damwon have just, like, as close as Cloud9 have kept this, I think you can clearly see how much control Damwon have over a map and why it is so difficult to close a game out against them, because they just keep the pressure up non-stop. They deny everything from you. They'll take jungle camps, they'll keep their waves pushed in, they track some of the spells so well, and now they're going to start off the Baron.
They're pulling C9 into a fight. Vulcan down to 2/3 HP. They have to know. There goes the fast alteration. 6,000 HP on the Baron, but it's chunked out. It's already gone down. KIA are going to get it, but C9 might look for the fight. First Sonic Wave hits from Fudge. He tries to get in, but he's knocked back immediately. Cannon gets an equalizer down. He's separated from the rest of Damwon KIA, but ShowMaker is looking for the engage. Can't quite land the abscond. Sven's going to get knocked up. Fudge trying to do what again as he gets the blast coming back. Ghost dives across the wall down towards the bottom side of the fight. You can see Perkz get a kill by ShowMaker in a 1v3. ShowMaker is winning the fight for his team. Khan has killed Blaber. ShowMaker's going to escape. Canyon kills Fudge, and somehow Damwon KIA win the fight.
Just like that, Damwon flipped the switch, and now they have everything that they could have asked for. They get themselves the Baron. They win out a team fight. ShowMaker looking for more.
It's flashing in. He's looking for Perkz, but he can't quite get it. Vulcan will secure it. And we'll see what Damwon KIA can do with only 4 players having this Red Bull Baron buff.
Oh my word, it was looking so good for Cloud9, but just like that, it was the control we were talking about. Damwon have maintained river control throughout the entire game, but this time they took a Baron as well. C9 was saying, you know what, we can still go for the fight if we get a couple kills here. Great hook coming out from BeryL, and just watch ShowMaker in the fight, because his whole game plan is, you know what, I'm gonna 1v3 and I don't care. He's tanking so much up with the Alistar as Fudge is trying to do what he can on the backline, but his GA gets popped. The ultimate from Ghost is able to take him to safety as well. And while they're in a 2v4, ShowMaker's continuing in the 1v3. He just does not die, is able to disengage, and then Damwon come out on top.
Dragon now up. It's a mountain. Only the third of the game. Equalizer goes down onto Zven. He's going to jump away, but he needs to engage onto Canyon, and Canyon just dies. That's another player without Baron. That is sole point for C9. And although Damwon KIA have control of the river, although Damwon KIA have control of the jungle, right now C9 keep punching back.
They certainly do. C9 showcasing that they have not given up yet. The one thing you can say about Perkz is he is one resilient player. And this was something we saw a lot from them during the regular season as well. They made it difficult for teams to close out games, and they're going to do the same thing here against Damwon. Of course, they are still at a deficit, but that Infinity Edge is now done for Zven. Perkz completed 3 full items. C9 is strong. If they can get that standard front-to-back teamfight comp, if they can just find a way to deal with ShowMaker, then there are ways in which they can come out ahead. But let's have a look
on the chase here. Blaber has a good flank position. ShowMaker's going to slow him down, but BeryL does have flash. Going to try and get the Nautilus hook away. The Siphon Power gives Perkz movement speed once again, and there is the flash from the Nautilus. BeryL will no longer have that when the next fight comes to pass, but we do still have 4 minutes on the next Dragon, and the Baron, of course, still in Damwon KIA's hands. Only 2,000, I would say about 2,400 in total gold gained from this, and remember, you get 1,500 from just taking the thing. So Damwon KIA not getting as much gold out of this Baron as perhaps they would have liked.
Certainly the case. They still did balloon their gold lead, but as you rightly said, Cloud9, they're kind of chilling right now. They will lose the tier 2 in the bot lane. But it's all about this river control, it feels like, this game. And C9, they do have it. You can see the vision invested top and bot. Not a huge amount because right now there's no objective to play for. So instead, they're just going to take the resources. But once again, Damwon saying, oh, you've got jungle camps? Well, I think you mean I've got jungle camps because BeryL and Canyon move in, steal away these camps whenever there's an opportunity. Wouldn't be surprised if they actually funnel these onto a player like Ghost to give him even more farm, as ShowMaker will take another tier 2. Level 17 on Ghost right now. Has 3.5 items completed. Level 17 for ShowMaker, 17 for Khan. Same for Perkz and Fudge.
For Ghost.
Have the rise. He does have all of his summoner spells. Let's actually do a quick summoner spell check-in because Fudge, no flash. Perkz, no flash. Sven does, but with all sums up for Ghost, I feel like he's going to be the most challenging player to kill, and he's going to be who Fudge has his eyes on. I'm
going to be honest, Vedi, I think we're checking those about 2 minutes too early. I think the next fight we are going to see will be at this Mountain Drake. Unless Damwon KIA can find a good pocket of vision where C9 step a little bit too far forward. In all honesty, C9 can maintain this defensive line for the next minute or so and then start stepping in and getting the wards into that river once again. Mountain Soul on the menu for Cloud9. They're going to try and just take away some of their jungle, and we'll see where they are as we get towards that next objective. 3 items on Zven, as you said. We'll see actually Chemtech Punk Sword built for Fudge here, so more healing reduction coming out from the side of C9.
Whew. Wow. I hope you've all enjoyed the game so far, because Medic and I have had a blast. C9 have really stepped up in this game. They want to get out of this group. They want to make it to the Rumble stage.
Oh, they just dive onto Zven, who jumps away. That's Ghost's ultimate use. Of course, we'll be back up for the next fight, but ShowMaker wants a little bit more. He dives in with the Everfrost. Vulcan has a really good flank position here, but the Equalizer is in the perfect spot. ShowMaker diving in once again. Vulcan goes low. ShowMaker will take him, but now ShowMaker's on the front line, and Fudge trying to get onto the back. Can't quite hit the Sonic Wave. ShowMaker will fall. Sven and Perkz will secure that kill. Khan diving in onto Fudge. Sven trying to get the damage down. Just needs a few autos. Tristana so strong in the late game, but they just don't have the damage. They are caught in a choke, and Khan with the Shock Blast will force Cloud9 to go back to the fountain.
How did Damwon get away with that? I thought that they were griefing right there. Ghost and ShowMaker were so split from their team, but again, we see the durability of ShowMaker on this Sylas, stealing away the Alistar ultimate again. They end up coming out on top. They will get themselves the first inhibitor of the game. And it looked like such a promising fight, but you mentioned it as well, Medic, that Rumble Equalizer just doing so much work and preventing Cloud9 from getting that follow-up. The big thing, though, and I think the biggest thing, no summoners on the big carries of Damwon. But have a look at this. The double ultimate, well, the first ultimate coming in from Ghost, I think is extremely dangerous, especially with Vulcan on the flank. But then watch Canyon and watch the ultimate. Look at how impactful that is at zoning Perkz and Zven away. Zven has to commit his W to getting into the fight, but then ShowMaker's just tanking everything up. Pops the Zonyas as well. And then Fudge puts himself in an awkward position because he's like, I want to get Ghost. But in reality, it is Damwon that now gets to collapse onto you, which means that C9 end up faltering in the fight. And
the important thing, of course, is now super minions are pushing in the mid lane when this Mountain Soul is going to be up. We've got one more wave coming in. Cloud9 trying to gain control, gain mid-prio. BeryL walks in. GA now available for Fudge. BeryL takes a little bit of damage. Fudge down to half HP. Vulcan on the front line. ShowMaker diving onto the back. Zven will manage to jump away, and BeryL and Fudge and Zven have all been chunked. Dragon up 7 seconds. Cloud9 can give this if they want.
ShowMaker doesn't have ultimate, but it's a very low cooldown. The question is, will he be able to steal Vulcan again the next time around? Fudge has returned to the fight. Here we go. This is it.
In goes Vulcan. Here comes Blaber. Fudge dives onto the line. They shut down Ghost, and they're looking for more. Blaber's gone down as well, but ShowMaker is now dead, and Zven has free reign to open up. They're going to look to try and secure the Dragon, but Canyon will get it. Khan and Fudge fighting off towards the top side. Perkz here will kill off Khan, and C9 win the fight. They do not get the soul, but they keep this game alive.
Oh my word, Cloud9! You're able to find another huge fight against the world champions, and killing Ghost was crucial. We talked about the lack of summoner spells, and C9 immediately punished that opportunity. Extremely great Hex Flash over the wall from Vulcan to get that 2-man knockup. The follow-up from Blaber, the damage from the mid lane man, Perkz, and now Cloud9 will get themselves the Baron. The big question is, though, is this enough? Because it has constantly been a back and forth battle, and it feels like the one team fight will swing the game.
Cloud9 after such a disappointing first 3 games, are fighting against the world champions. They are making the world champions sweat. Perkz said it best, even if you lose, make them sweat, and that's exactly what Blaber and Vulcan are doing here. Look at Fudge, look at his engage on the back. Oh, so crisp.
Beautifully done. And the fact that they were able to kill the Sylas as well, he didn't get to ult and use the Alistar ultimate this time round. So that zoning, that durability wasn't available, and they got that front-to-back team fight that they wanted. And so much gold was funneled into Perkz' back pocket. Beautifully played fight from Cloud9. Calm composure on the mid lane, veteran for Perkz. He has the death cap now available. 10 stacks on his ring. And he is looking to dish out the damage. You can see Bloodthirster now completed for Zven as well. With the Baron, they're looking to siege.
Vulcan in a really good position once again to Hex Flash across the wall. Will be spotted by the ward from BeryL. Cloud9, 400 gold behind. It's basically even. It doesn't matter anymore. They are in such a strong position. 3 Drakes to their name. With the Baron now for the next 2 minutes, they are in control. They are the ones taking away the jungle camps. They are the ones placing the wards behind enemy lines. They are the ones taking these objectives, taking these towers, and they are the ones fighting back against Damwon. Cloud9 with the team fighting comp have the power. Equalizer used to try and clear out the minion wave, but the Baron buff will be enough to keep him alive. ShowMaker is doing blue buff while all of this is happening. That implies Damwon KIA willing to give up that top lane inhibitor. Next fight, Vedi, you gotta feel we are in for a war in the bot side river. That mountain soul can be the difference maker in these fights. And the question is, who will come out on top? Because that last team fight from Cloud9 was sublime to watch.
The goal is dead even, but a couple things we have to mention. Summoner spells are up for everyone except for Fudge. I'm not sure. I'm actually going to have a very quick look. What is his flash timer right now? It's just under 2 minutes. So it will be up in time for the next Drake, assuming no other crazy stuff happens. ShowMaker forced to use his TP. Perkz is going to do the same thing. They still have a little bit left on the Baron, so they want to leverage this as much as they can. They're going to push out the wave that ShowMaker just pushed. And they're going to look to get themselves a tier 2 tower. I like this from C9. Keep the proactivity up. Try and get as much gold into your back pockets as you can before the next fight. But everything is going to be available, Medic. C9 are not going to get that same fight that they had before. The map is basically dead even. It all comes down to teamfight execution. ShowMaker steals the Alistar ultimate. The question is this the time that they fight? Hook
from BeryL misses. There's the equalizer. Will force Cloud9 away. We'll be back up for a dragon fight if it begins. Ghost and Khan down to about half HP, but Ghost has the GA. No GA, actually Fudges is back up as well. Inhibitor tower falls.
Okay.
C9 just bullying their way into Damwon's base. ShowMaker on the flank looking for the engage, but can't quite find it. Blaber stepping forward in the bear stance, looking for the stun, won't get it. Both teams a little bit apprehensive about finding the full-on engage, but Cloud9 have now opened up 2 inhibitors against the #1 seed from the LCK. Cloud9 are showing up so well on this final day of groups.
They certainly are, Medic. You highlighted it. I love that confidence from Cloud9. Using only 40 seconds of the Baron buff left, they say, you know what, we can just push top, we can just get it all. And the moment that that equalizer came out from Canyon, they were saying, hey, this is not a great ult. Actually, now a lot of their damage has disappeared, so let's go. And we're kind of seeing the scaling power of C9's comp now. Very long range, Viktor and Tristana. It only gets harder for Damwon to be able to actually play these team fights. And now it is them who have to face check Cloud9 for the first time throughout this entire game. They have to walk into the clutches of Cloud9. Cloud9 determine the fight, the state of the map that they will fight on. The dragon spawns in 10 seconds. Cloud9, this is your opportunity to take down DK.
There's no vision. There's no vision at all here for Damwon. Importantly, Khan's Guardian Angel will be back up for this fight, but at the moment he's catching mid-waves, and Damwon are retreating. Cloud9, you get the Soul Mountain at your back. Cloud9, what a performance. And let me just emphasize how good this is for Cloud9. If they win here, the rest of the day becomes so much easier. You have DFM and Infinity to beat, and yes, they have put up a challenge, but beating the undefeated, taking down the world champion sets you in such good stead for this final day.
It certainly does. Incredible performance, and that man on your screen, Fudge, has come up clutch. He has really helped Cloud9 get through the early to mid game, and now Perkz is coming up clutch in the late game fights. But Damwon, They've been in this position a few
100%,
times, Medic. They are the world champions, not because they come back from so many crazy fights, but because of how insanely talented everyone in this roster is. They did it against DFM. C9, they just have to play patiently. They cannot overstep because Damwon will look to punish them. Here we are, the siege onto the final inhibitor tower.
Tristana, level 18, highest attack range in the game. So easy to siege. Explosive charge does a lot of work for you, as well as DWG KIA are going to try and catch their waves in bot lane. Top lane also pushing in. I believe there's 2 super minions in that wave, so Khan will have to work his way up there. Next minion wave for Cloud9 will be here in 5 seconds time, and the clock is ticking. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Will DWG KIA defend? The inhibitor tower is the target. Fudge gets hooked by BeryL. Goes trying to open up onto Blaber, but that inhibitor tower is almost done. Falls down now. Ghost on the front line. ShowMaker looking for the flank. BeryL going in as well, but Fudge kicks him away. C9 willing to disengage his fight as ShowMaker has to pop the Alistar ult to get away. Look at how low DK are. They have to back away. They have to get back to the fountain, and Cloud9 have supers in the bottom lane, have supers in the top lane, and now have cracked the inhibitor in mid as well. This could just be it, Vedi.
Patience is the name of the game for C9, and they're doing just that. They're letting the minions do the work for them, utilizing the range. He gets the flash
hook onto Perkz. Equalizer goes down, and Perkz stops it all with a stopwatch. BeryL down to half HP on the backline. ShowMaker's trying to do what he can, but he doesn't have the damage quite yet. Fudge ticking away. Blaber down as well. Canyon still alive somehow. Everyone's surviving apart from BeryL. C9, 5 members strong, are knocking on the nexus of DWG KIA.
Excellent stopwatch, or Zhonya's rather, coming out from Perkz to buy enough time for the team to reorganize and go for the return attack. DK now only with 4 members alive. Zven knocking on the Nexus towers.
First Nexus tower down. Vulcan flash in. Looks for the engage. ShowMaker has to pop a stopwatch of his own as Ghost tries to trade on the bottom side. ShowMaker somehow still alive, but now he will fall, and Fudge dives in. He can sense blood. He can sense victory. Ghost forced away. The equalizer's not going to do too much as C9 are on the Nexus. And from villains to victors, C9 take down Damwon.
An incredible performance from Cloud9 and a much needed win to help them get out of this group. There were times where they looked shaky. Damwon had so much control over the map, but the later this game went, the better it was for C9. Damwon, even with that Baron, like, I think ShowMaker making that play in mid where he flashed over the wall, tried to go for that 1v3, giving up the Baron, like, that small misstep actually allowed C9 the time to then get the next Drake and come back into the game. Wow, incredible stuff. Just so many small mechanical differences. And I have nothing but praise for Fudge this game. He came up clutch on the Lee Sin. So many team fights. He was so impactful. Impressive stuff. It wasn't the cleanest game, but it doesn't matter. A dub's a dub. It was great to watch.
I mean, any dub versus Damwon is definitely a dub. First loss of the tournament for them, and you have to give credit to Blaber, to Fudge. How much they stepped up in this game. Fudge especially. The guy's 18 years old. He's the youngest player in the LCS. To see him outperform Khan after being put behind in the laning phase, that is a huge victory for Cloud9. Of course, it makes their path through the rest of the group that much easier, Vedius. You're smiling at the wrong camera, my man.
Yeah, that
one there.
That was great stuff coming out from Cloud9. DFM now, a lot of weight on their shoulders as, along with Infinity, both sitting at 1 and 2, this next win is going to be very important for the outcome of this group.
Yeah, it's now or never for Gillette Infinity Esports as they take on DetonatioN FocusMe in our next match. Let's send it over to Tune in the LLA to hear more about why they've chosen Now or Never as their team anthem on the League of Legends playlist on Spotify.
Hola, soy Chun, caster de la LLA, y el equipo que nos va a estar representando en este MSI es Gillette Infinity Esports. Nosotros creemos que la canción que más le llega a este equipo es Now or Never de Kendrick Lamar y Mary J. Blige. Esta en particular habla sobre toda la presión que se siente de volver a pisar el escenario luego de mucho tiempo en donde hay muchos fanáticos esperando mucho de ti. Infinity se perfiló como uno de los mejores equipos desde el principio de la temporada, pero esta canción habla sobre brillar en el momento preciso, cuando todos te están mirando. Y qué mejor que en la gran final, cuando pudiste llegar a un river sweep y eras tú el que iba 0-2 abajo. Esta situación donde nadie creía que Infinity iba a salir, logra salir y de muy buena manera, llegando al cielo, como dice Kendrick. Para mí la historia de Gillette Infinity Esports habla por sí sola. El 2016 lograron su paso a la LLN para el 2018 ganarse su puesto también en el Mundial de League of Legends. Después de eso no se supo mucho de ellos y Kendrick nos dice en esta canción que después de mucho tiempo sin logros hay que ser más ambicioso. Y qué más ambicioso que conseguirse a White Lotus, Bugax y Cody, que son conocidísimos por ser los mejores.
Find X3 Pro.
Welcome back, everyone, to MSI Iceland 2021, where I'm standing next to a victorious Blaber, Cloud9, doing the unthinkable, taking down Damwon Gaming to kick off the day. Blaber, this looked like a completely different team from the first round robin, so that's where I want to start. What changed between just a couple days ago and today that you could put up a performance like this?
Honestly, I'm just done picking weak junglers in the early game. I picked Kindred in Italy, and am just getting destroyed. I'm just useless, so I'm picking something strong, and we're just fighting.
All right, well, directly in reference to the jungle picks, though, from blue side, you guys leave Rumble up, neglect to take it. At first glance, a lot of people are thinking that's an int. You know, this is a broken jungler. What's going through your mind? What's the calculus there for your willingness to give away a champion like that?
So it's like, obviously, there's different metas for every team, right? But I'm sure you saw Fudge Lee Sin this game. That was our first pick, so he was smurfing really hard, and I'm very happy with our pick, and I was very fine playing Udyr into Rumble, even though with Morgana banned, Rumble is a very high priority pick, but we also got something that we wanted, so to us it was just a fair trade.
We talk about the step up of not just yourself, but Fudge as well there in the top lane. I think people were quick to criticize the two of you through that first round robin. How do you view your performance here today so far, but also what allowed you to kind of come back in with a refreshed mindset and make a statement game like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think, well, both of us obviously did not perform the best, right? But we both know we're extremely good, and I think we just had a lot of confidence going into this game, and we knew that we could just perform. And after we played them the first time, and we watched them play against DFM, we were like, this team is not, they're not the Kings anymore. And I think even though they are an extremely good team, like, they're definitely beatable.
Now, these international tournaments are a different animal, and when we look at kind of the way the group stage breaks down, it's a whole bunch of best of ones. People are always quick, you know, to lunge at different ideas of who's going to make it through based on those initial days. How did the team kind of recover, just generally, in terms of your thinking from the performance in the first round robin and moving forward into today, knowing that you still very much have a pathway to getting out?
I mean, we were very confident going into today, regardless of what happened in the first round robin. I mean, these games are best of ones, and honestly, anything can happen in a best of one. All these teams are here for a reason. They won their region, right? And none of these teams are bad. So looking down on them is just, it could cause you to, you know, lose. And,
all right.
Yeah.
Well, final question before I let you go. The first thing you said to me when you walked into the interview space was, "Thank you for the congratulations, but beyond that, it's not over yet. You still have a lot of work to do in terms of making it to the Rumble stage." So, how are you looking at the next two games today against DFM and Gillette Infinity that you've got coming up?
We definitely have some momentum going because of our victory today, but the next two games matter just as much as the first one versus Damwon. So we're just gonna try our best heading into the next two and not let go.
All right, well, Blaber, thank you again for taking the time to talk to me. I'm going to let you get back to the team so you guys can get your minds refreshed for the next game. From here, though, we're heading back to the analyst desk and Sjokz to break down that victory.
Thank you so much, Dash. Welcome back to the State Farm Analyst Desk. Everyone was punching down on Cloud9, but they punched up. They had their head on their shoulders, and they beat the world champion in our opening game of the day. There is so much to talk about, and we don't have that much time, so let's start by pulling up the draft. We heard the explanation there out of Blaber saying, "I'm done picking the champions in the early game that I can do nothing with, and I'm even willing to give over Rumble to Canyon."
I think the bigger mistake was for Damwon just picking Kai'Sa there on 1-2. I think if they go Rumble Tristana, Tristana's a good flex for mid and bot lane. With the AP jungler, removes the option for Cloud9. This way, they can pick themselves bot lane. Even blind picking support. I think the draft was a bit weird. Also, you have to say that Cloud9 clearly had the better scaling draft. I think it showed that after 25 minutes, 30 minutes, Damwon didn't really have an avenue to approach the fights anymore. But at the same time, when Damwon was strong, they took these weird fights where like ShowMaker died mid lane together with Canyon, then Khan died top lane. So Cloud9 punished them really well when Damwon was playing a bit too greedy, and then just sat back and wait to scale.
Yeah, I'd like to highlight a couple of things in the early game specifically that immediately showed an improvement in confidence, Emily, and you wanted to look specifically at how Blaber set out that top lane for success.
Yeah, so this is something we saw a lot from them in their finals against Team Liquid, and I think the biggest thing was getting Blaber involved with his lanes. I still think Damwon actually had somewhat better jungle to lane communication in the way that they played around Canyon, but this gank from Blaber with the setup from Fudge with the wave where the wave was pushed is like kind of a classic thing we saw from them in NA. They were actually being proactive, which is honestly the most important thing for this team. And it wasn't just in Blaber's proactivity, but we saw, like, I think a huge hero in this series was actually Vulcan with some of his Alistar engages, because it's like you need someone to go in, you need someone to make that call, and he was doing it.
Yeah, I completely agree. Even with the threat of ShowMaker so often also having that Alistar ult, still able to overcome that. Grabbz, how important do you think, as we look at Blaber's next kills, it was for Cloud9 to get a good start here in order for them to get on the right foot, not only in this game, but for this entire day?
I think, yeah, this is the turning point in the game, because until then, I think Damwon was like up 1.5k with a comp that wants to stay out the game in mid-game, so Damwon actually had a good position to win the game here. But afterwards, even here, we will see, I think, 2 more deaths from Damwon, which slowed them down so hard that Cloud9 actually could get to scale. So I think, as Emily said, early game, it's not like Cloud9 had a really good early game. I think Damwon got ahead, and I think they could have closed the game out. But again, Cloud9 has to be the punish mistakes, but in a war here, especially here, the dive on top, just slows down the tempo so much, and Cloud9 actually, as Blaber said, they were willing to fight. Sure, it's always easy to say Damwon was inting, Damwon was being aggressive, but Cloud9 was ready. The punish every step of the way. And I think that's different than from the first 3 games they played.
And Emily, I think that's incredibly important because we talked so much about Damwon and how they take over when you are indecisive. They take over when you make mistakes. And even with that happening a couple of times, and maybe Zven getting caught out maybe once, immediately Cloud9 resets and keeps their cool. That, to me, seemed like the most important thing in terms of showing resilience for Cloud9 in this game. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I think it still got to a point in the game where I was like, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to kill ShowMaker with this Alistar ult. ShowMaker was like 1v3ing some of the back of these team fights. But Damwon did end up, you know, kind of misplaying a few of these fights that allowed for C9 to split them up well, especially around the way that Fudge and Vulcan played. I think they got on top of Ghost pretty well in some of these fights, additionally taking him out because he and Khan were very, very far ahead to the point where, despite the fact that I did think C9's composition was going to outscale, I thought the power from those 2 champions, Canyon's Rumble ults, and then additionally the fact that they couldn't kill ShowMaker was not going to lead to a C9 victory. So good for them to combining, I guess, the proactivity in when to go for the fights and when to kind of reset and back off and just push their map state forward.
Exactly. Cloud9 ultimately overcoming the defending world champions. Despite losing the fight for Soul, they turned the game around in their drive to victory, presented by Mercedes-Benz. And I think it's so important that you highlight kind of the Fudge in this situation, always getting onto Ghost, the Alistar ults being on point, as well as the carries, and I count the jungler there too, making the right moves in this team fight. Emily.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, I still think Rumble is kind of like must first pick on blue side, but you know, they showed why they picked this champion for Fudge, right? Like, I didn't think it was super, super flawless, but he played insanely well for a champion that, you know, we've not seen him on, right? And this is something that he had to show up on because otherwise their draft just would have been absolutely eviscerated.
Yes, I love that they took that gamble and it pays off for them. Cloud9 opening this day with a win. Next up, DetonatioN FocusMe versus Gillette Infinity. We'll be right back.